Good morning, a good Erev Shabbos. Thank you for tuning in to the Kehillat Shari Torah Halacha Review for Friday, February 19th. We need to touch briefly on the changes that occur in davening, in our tefillas, in our daily prayers on and around Purim. It says Shacharis on Purim. One should daven Shacharis early on the morning of Purim. Tefillin are, for those who wear tefillin are worn during the Megillah reading Purim morning. Also, we don't take off tefillin before the Megillah is read. Tachanun is omitted both on the 14th and 15th of Adar. It's also, by the way, I know they don't say it here, but on Mincha, the afternoon before Purim. So on Tainus Esther, on the 13th in the afternoon, which would be Thursday, we also leave out Tachanun. So on Purim itself, Friday, and on the 15th, of course, we're not saying Tachanun, but there are some things like Avrachmim that are not recited on days when Tachanun is omitted, so we do omit those on Shabbat also. We do not say Hallel on Purim, curiously, and the explanation that's always given is because the miracle of Purim was not a complete redemption from exile. At the end of the Purim story, even though we were saved, we were still, in fact, in exile in King Achashverosh's kingdom there. Lamanatzeach on the 14th and 15th days of Adar. Lamanatzeach after Ashrei and Kel Erech Apayim at the conclusion of Shacharis before taking out the Torah are not recited. We leave those out. Ala Nisim in Shmona Esrei, that's the main addition into our davening, is the paragraph Ala Nisim is recited in the Shmona Esrei, in the Amida, in Ma'ariv, and in the Shacharis, and then again in Mincha in the afternoon, also in benching, in Birkat HaMazon. If you forgot to say Ala Nisim in the Amida and you realized that you left it out before you said Hashem's name at the end of that penultimate bracha there, you go back and say Ala Nisim and continue from Va'al Kulam. If you already said Hashem's name, Baruch Atah Hashem, at the end, at the second to the last bracha, you may, at the end of the Amida, after Elokai Netzor, before Iyul Ratzon, you should say the special Harachman you would say at the end of Birkat HaMazon, followed by Ala Nisim. It's a little bit complicated there to flip back and forth in the pages. If Ala Nisim was omitted entirely, you do not have to repeat the Amida. You don't have to say the Shemona Esrei. If you left it out, you left it out. But better put your finger in there, put a post-it somewhere in your siddur to remind yourself to say it. It's special. We only get to say it this one day. One who observes Purim on the 14th does not recite Ala Nisim on the 15th, and one who observes on the 15th does not recite on the 14th. That would apply to Jews living in Yerushalayim, in the old city of Jerusalem, and any other city, I guess, Yericho, that has had walls around its city since the times of Yoshua ben Nun. There are different opinions about what point to make a bris on Purim. Should a bris take place? We should only have simchas in good health. Some say the bris should be done before the Megillah reading. Others say you do the Megillah reading first and then the bris afterwards. Don't ask the baby. He's nogei b'davar. He has a vested interest in the outcome, so probably he's not going to give you a straight answer anyway. Okay, so that's a little bit more about Purim. Let's just mention Shabbat, which is coming up. First of all, this is Shabbat Zachor, Parshas Zachor. Would this be an ordinary Shabbos? Would that it would be an ordinary Shabbos. We would take out two Sefer Torah. From the second Sefer Torah, we would read three verses from towards the end of Chumash Devarim, Zachor, the passage of Zachor, of Mechias Amalek. You can find those in your siddur, as we mentioned, I think in the last week or 10 days or so. At some point we did say this. In the supplemental readings following Shacharit, if you have the good old RCA Art Scroll siddur here, there's a passage called the Sheish Zechirot, 6 remembrances on page 176, 177. The middle paragraph of that page there is Deuteronomy chapter 25, verses 17, 18, and 19. You should say those on Shabbos, read them out of a Chumash if you can. If you need a little help practicing, there is a 1-minute video on our website of those three verses being read quite expertly from a Sefer Torah. You can listen to that, and that you'll know how it goes, and then you can read it yourself on Shabbos Zachor. The Shabbos immediately before Purim, we always remind ourselves of the Torah obligation to remember to blot out the memory of Amalek. So that's the way we do it. We usually do it in Shul. You just listen to that second Sefer Torah reading, but this Shabbos, a little bit more empowerment for you. You'll have to take matters into your own hands. Okay, candlelighting this afternoon, 5:35 p.m. Were we to meet in Shul, it would be at 5:40. We're not going to meet in Shul, so let's all daven together. Mincha and Kabbalat Shabbat about 5:40 this afternoon. Shacharit tomorrow is also suspended, considering the situation. Hopefully that will change much sooner rather than later. Shabbat concludes at 6:39 p.m. tomorrow evening, 6:49. Please join us for Zoom Havdalah. Okay, everyone's welcome to enjoy and take part in that. Have a wonderful Shabbos, and we will see each other afterwards. Shabbos.